Tonight, the Ministry of Agriculture intensifies its awareness and surveillance for the TR4 invasive soil disease. A former government minister in the previous Alan Shastny administration who had bowed out of active politics following the UWP's 2021 defeat has announced his intention to contest the next general election. And a new boss has been appointed to head the National Emergency Management Organization.
This is the Hot 790 News with Daniela Edwin.
Good evening, it is Thursday, July 27, 2023. I am Kareem Nelson standing in for Daniela Edwin. Welcome to the Hot 7 TV Nightly News. We are on Flow Channel 117, Kiss FM, the Caribbean Hot FM mobile app, and the Caribbean Hot 7 TV Facebook page. Not forgetting those of you using the Hot 7 plug-and-play antenna, thank you for joining us. As the Ministry of Agriculture intensifies efforts to keep the TR4 soil fungus at bay, the Director of Agricultural Services impresses upon St. Lucians that the risk of importing the invasive soil disease is a threat to food security. Eldridge Charles begins our reporting this evening.
According to Dr. Oria King-Snack, most of the pests encountered on St. Lucian shores over the years have posed extremely high economic and environmental costs. For this reason, she says, early detection and routine surveillance of pest and disease is key in containment and eradication of those nuisances. In addressing an awareness training workshop with frontline port representatives from SLASPA, Dr. Snack observed that TR4 not only threatens the nation's food security, but also the lives of millions of people globally who rely on bananas and plantains as cash crops. Dr. Snack adds that farmers and their families are especially vulnerable.
As a transboundary soil-borne fungus, TR4 is recognized as one of the most destructive pests in the history of agriculture and the world's greatest threat to the banana and plantain production. Currently, the most effective approach to combat this disease is by prevention. This is why I encourage you, the frontline staff, as a first point of likely entry of the TR4 pathogen to embrace this awareness training. Your early detection role serves a key tool in the fight against this pest.
According to Dr. Snack, the entry of TR4 into the island could mean the eradication of the banana and plantain species and an end to some of the cuisine that has become a staple for many people.
Just for one moment, imagine no green fig and saltfish, no backs and green figs. What about our quick snack of a nice nutritious banana? Just think about it. We all have a significant part to play in the prevention and spread of TR4. The Ministry of Agriculture will continue to collaborate with our farmers, SLASPA, Customs and Excise, and other stakeholders to ensure we put up a good fight together to ensure that we keep TR4 away from our shores.
Reporting for the Hot 7 TV News, I am Eldridge Charles.
UWP Titan Guy Joseph has announced his return to the political arena after what he says was a 2-year hiatus to observe the modus operandi of the Philip J. Pierre administration. The announcement was made at a recent UWP press conference where the opposition weighed in on the SLP government's performance while in office.
Former Castries Southeast MP Guy Joseph has announced his return to the political arena. The announcement was made during a press conference hosted by the opposition to assess the performance of the ruling SLP administration. In his address, Joseph explained that he had taken the time to observe what the Philip J. Pierre regime had in store for the populace. Joseph delivered a scathing review of government's administrative policies, outlining the many snafus of the ruling party, as well as an assessment of the performance of various ministers within the cabinet. Chief among the policies dissected by Joseph is the decision by Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre to institute a 2.5% health and security levy on goods and services in addition to the 12.5% value-added tax. Joseph vehemently opposes the move, citing the already high cost of living and rising inflation rates as proof that this tax will reduce the quality of life on the island. He accused the SLP of draining the lifeblood of hard-working St. Lucians by excessive taxation and of enslaving the public.
Let's see what they have done. The highest taxation in the history of St. Lucia. That is an achievement by the St. Lucia Labour Party. If you look at the 2.5% levy, if they had reintroduced the 2.5% tax or VAT and taken the VAT to 15%, VAT, it would just be a straight 15%. But when you add the levy on top of what is there, it would take it, if it was VAT, to about 16.3%.
Joseph also rubbished the government's boast that the removal of VAT on building materials would benefit the public. According to Joseph, when compared to the prices of building materials during COVID inclusive of VAT, building materials will still be twice the price, even after the VAT exemption. Joseph believes the country would be better served with a reduction of the excise tax on these items.
I want you to understand. So yes, they are going to remove the 12.5%. They have added 2.5%. They are moving 12.5%. But they have also kept it, and my colleague Dominic highlighted, that the average duty on lumber, let's say it's 40%. Why didn't Philip J. Pierre and the Labour Party government reduce the 40% or charge based on the previous rate of $85? So if you charge on the previous rate of $85, you didn't even have to remove VAT. The duty would have kept the price of the lumber within the reach of the average person in St. Lucia. So I want you to understand that, yes, people will save a few dollars, but they are spending twice the amount they used to spend before.
Reporting for the Hot 7 TV News, I am Eldridge Charles.
Kenisha Jeffrey Isambut has been named the new boss at the National Emergency Management Organization NEMO as former director Maria Maida proceeded on pre-retirement leave. Public concerns ran high earlier this week as the disaster management organization remained without a head during the peak hurricane season. However, that distress was settled on Wednesday when Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre revealed that the Public Service Commission had appointed a new officer in charge on Tuesday, 25th July.
That is done by the Public Service Commission, and there's an officer in charge was appointed yesterday.
While Mrs. Jeffrey Isambut is expected to be lead on national disaster management and coordination, NEMO is still left without a formal director and deputy director. Still in the first segment of the broadcast, the POV. The POV provides you, our valued viewers and listeners, an opportunity to sound off on trending issues in the news only from your point of view. Dozens of foreigners who travel to St. Lucia to indulge in the 2023 Carnival festivities are faced with the unpleasant dilemma of tracking down outbound flights. Having been stuck at the airports, reports are trickling in about their ordeals and the unplanned expenses incurred to cover accommodations. Our question to you is, how do you feel about the stranding of dozens of tourists due to limited airlift out of St. Lucia? Here is what you had to say.
Well, the carnival went so nice, no big violence, and then we have this thing popping up now to spoil the whole vibe. So I don't like it. They should continue working and work out the details privately. But continue working, you can't do that. But that is like a revolt. You know, you can't leave St. Lucia. Anyway, that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Well, it's just a sad situation to see that, you were excited, but now that you are sad because you cannot get back to your home. I mean, it's not a good feeling for anybody, you know, and to see you have your loved ones, sometimes, you know, you leave your families at the back there and it's like, you know, you're stuck in a place and they're asking you to pay extra monies. Sometimes you don't even have the monies, you understand? So in that incident, it's just a sad situation to see that those people are there and they cannot leave.
It's not right. It's not fair. I don't think it's right, you know. So I think the airlines should pay for it.
I think it's unfair. I mean, I was with a group of people. They have left the island, and they actually had to pay out of their pocket, and they got a charter flight to Barbados to get their connecting flight. So I think it's really unfair on the, you know, on that end. I also feel like, well, what my friends were saying, as much as they love St. Lucia, it's kind of a turn-off, but next year they're actually like thinking if it's even worth it. I mean, I have been trying to, like, you know, communicate with them. I said, I don't think, I mean, I've been coming here for years for Carnival and this has never been an issue before, so hopefully this is something that's gonna, you know, there's gonna be a one-time only thing, so yeah.
You're watching the Hot 7 TV Nightly News. Coming up next, Prime Minister Pierre addresses criticism on his administration's handling of sexual harassment allegations against the acting police commissioner. And Helen's Daughters Academy is moving on to St. Kitts and Nevis after successfully completing the 9-week agriculture course here. Stay with us, we'll bring you the details to these stories and so much more right after the break.